trying to tell? Were you able to put all of that amazing, that joy and the compassion and the love and the power and the exuberance that you felt, were you able to articulate that to that person that you were trying so desperately to tell? What an amazing experience you had. There's nothing on this planet that can describe it. So before we begin, I'm going to ask John to come up and share his flute music as we begin with a prayer and meditation. So I just ask, as in my culture, we always lift our face to the Creator, but in other cultures, they will bow their head when they meditate or pray. I'm going to ask you to do whatever speaks to you. But I do ask that you'll open your palms and plant your feet. And close your eyes just so that there's not outside distraction. Take a deep, deep breath in. Fill your lungs fully and completely with the breath of life. And as you exhale, release into the space of now, here, at this moment. Feel how it feels to breathe fully until you cannot accept one more sip of air. Your chest is open and your heart space is opening. Gently blow away like you're blowing out a candle, and allow your thoughts to flow with that breath, to release, and to let go. Feel what it feels like to breathe in the breath of life, to feel it fill your belly, and to rise up through your chest, and to fill you up with new energy. And as you exhale, release and relax into this space. Creator, Great Spirit, giver of life and giver of breath. You are called by many, many names. We ask for your presence here with us. As we breathe in the breath of life, let us breathe in the creative force to ignite that spark of you that is within us. And as we breathe, let us feel this spark, flame, burn and grow and overflow from us. Mahio, Tinkashala Wakatonka. Creator, hear us. We are here, open hearts and open minds. The subject of turning the onion into the lotus takes work, and we ask that you help us to see what that work is for each one of us. We ask for the direction of the East, Great Spirit, where the sun rises and the Great Awakening begins. us to see through a different set of eyes, Great Spirit, our spiritual eyes. Creator, we ask for the direction of the south where the fire burns, to continue to feed our fire. Let us feel it as it overflows from us. Let us connect with it. And as we feel that, let it burn away any anger or rage or hurt or pain that we may carry in us. We ask for the wolf to bring us the intelligence to live in community together, accepting each other, loving each other fully and completely. Let us not stand in judgment of ourselves or of our neighbors, but let us stand in compassion and in love. We ask for the direction of the west, where our ancestors will go to rest, laying their physical bodies down. We ask for the guidance of all that came before us, and for you, Great Spirit, to give us the strength and the courage of the bear, to stand firm in who we are and why we are here. Tinkashala, Creator. Mahio, God. Great Spirit and Grandfather. We ask the direction of the north, where the great white buffalo will bring us the wisdom of remembering the power that is deep within each one of us. We ask to be deeply rooted into Mother Earth and remember that as a beautiful, caring, loving mother, she sustains us and she gives us food. She gives us water. You've created her for this. You created us to be stewards over her, to remember that we are connected to each other and to all things. Great Spirit, I ask to be an open conduit, to share messages, not to tell people what to believe, but only to guide them into questioning. It is through the questioning that our answers will deepen. It's through the answers deepening that our questions shall all too deepen, that we may reach that moment of enlightenment where we merge completely and fully with that spark of you that is the I am within each one of us. We bring in all of our relations, all of the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the multi-leggeds, the creepy crawlies, the no-leggeds, the plant and mineral nation, the water nation, the swimming nation, the standing nation, the flying nation, and the star nation. breath in as a community together, and we open our hearts and ignite them as one. And as we ask in the name of all that is, so it shall be. Amen. Ho! Thank you, John. Thank you, thank you. He has beautiful medicine. Thank you for sharing.
This was an incredible presentation, the two of you together. And I have a trouble meditating. And I've worked with Chopra and, some of the other ones. But what you two did should be on a CD.
Actually,
It's
John and I are working on that. We are currently looking for a recording studio in which we can go in and make some meditation CDs together so that we can guide people in that way. So thank you so much for that confirmation. That was a confirmation. We have confirmation all around us, don't we? Have you ever been thinking something and somebody else blurts it out? I go, word thief. You just stole my words. You did. And it's the way the Creator works with us, to give us these little nudges, to help us know that we're on the right path. We're on the road. So when I talk about turning that onion into the lotus, I'm going to reference some different scriptures from different holy books. Everything from the Bible to the Quran to the Bhagavad Gita. And these are all holy texts to the Sabbath. And these are all holy books, holy texts that have been found through different cultures. Because it is firmly my belief, and I'm hoping that as we are on this journey together, that we will all learn that we're all seeking and we're all searching for the truth, and we're all saying the same thing. We may be using different words to describe, but it's the same message. So if you look, it says in John, Jesus was talking, and Jesus said to this big group of people, even you shall do greater things than I. Even you shall do greater things than I. Even you shall do greater things than I. Now, from what we know about that energy, we know that Jesus that was encompassed was an energy that could do amazing things, perform amazing things. Like Buddha could perform amazing things. So if this power, if he's telling us that this power is within us, that we're going to do greater things than he, how? How are we going to get there? How do we go from point A to point Z? Another scripture in Luke says that the kingdom of God is where? Within you, right? It's within you. The Bhagavad Gita said this is true knowledge, to seek the self as the true end of wisdom always. To see anything else is ignorance. Now I'm going to go back. The kingdom of God is within. Is this not saying the same thing in a different way?
Yep.
Why are we so caught up in arguing with each other about I'm right and you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong? Because that creates division, and that keeps our energy separate from each other. One of the key components to our awakening, to our understanding, to our ability to unlock these things that are within ourselves is the connection with each other. Where two or more are gathered, right? So these books tell us a lot of different things. The Bible says that God gave us what?
Power.
Power. Power. The Creator gave us power. Power for what? Just going to ask you a question. Is there a possibility that when we took up the first arms, the first ability to hurt someone else or harm someone else, that something had to be shut down within us so that we didn't use our power in a bad way, in a negative way, in a harmful way? The Creator created us as amazing, amazing, amazing beings to do amazing things. I love that song by Matthew West, the one that I showed last week, the one with the woman from Uganda, the college student that started the orphanage and now, and it says, I shook my fist at God and said, why aren't you doing something? Why are you allowing all of this? And God said, I did. I created you. And I love that because it tells us that we each have the power. If we look at the Holy Scripts, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Sabbath, the Torah, the Kabbalah, they're all telling us about this power that we have in us. The Quran says that God, Allah is their word for God, that God will rise you up to suitable ranks and degrees. Those of you who believe and who have been granted knowledge, and Allah is well acquainted with all that you do. All that you do. And He will rise you up to suitable ranks. The Bhagavad Gita says the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuana, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. Well, the kingdom of God is where? Within us. Now it's telling us in our heart, right? So this one's saying in our heart. And that it is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated on basically a machine. There's something separate than our physical bodies, right? Every religion believes that, with the exception of two. Believe that there's something separate from our physical body that goes somewhere, it does something. Now there's an argument about where it goes, what it does. But everybody kind of agrees that there's something different. So if we're here as a spiritual being having a human experience, when we lose our physical body is denser, right? It's dense. It's kind of like the difference between this and this. This is more dense than this. So our spirit is less dense than our physical human body. So a lot of times we get into human form and we have a lot of emotion. And emotion is energy in motion. Oh, I like that. It's energy in motion, emotion. So if I come at you and I'm angry, I typically, like energy, will elicit like energy. How many of you, you've been okay, then somebody came at you, and all of a sudden you went from the place you were to right back at them. And you're like, they just ruined my whole good mood. I was in a good mood. Like energy elicits like energy. So if you're in anger, I'll give you an example. This morning I woke up, I was just angry. I'm like, this is so unusual. I'm never angry. I'm angry. I'm like, what is that about? I woke up that way. Like, it wasn't anything happened. I just woke up and I had anger. So I had to honor that and be like, okay, I'm present with the anger. I'm angry. I understand I'm angry. I want to rip somebody's head off. Okay. I got to figure out what's going on because anger is down here and vibrates at about 150 hertz, just to let you know. If I am really working to be able to communicate with the Creator, with all of the things that come from the light, like whether it's one of the archangels or whatever you want to call this source out here, this source is vibrating at a really high hertz level. This is why we can't see. We can only see about 1% in our visual spectrum. So if it's vibrating outside of that, like X-rays, gamma waves, you can't see those, right? So here, if I'm trying to go here, but I'm down here, how am I going to make up the difference? How is that exactly going to work? And if we have all of this power, you have this power. I have a question for you. How many of you have prayed somebody back to life? Literally, they were dead, you prayed them back to life. How many of you have done that? Okay? Why not? If you have the power in you, why wouldn't you pray them back to life? Sometimes you pray them back to life and you don't realize you prayed them back to life. Because we are taught we need to have something other than. I mean, we talk all the time about the power of prayer and how awesome it is and how powerful it is, but in reality, we think, oh no, there's something else happened. Well, the doctor jump-started their heart, or this happened, or that happened. We gotta have a scientific reason. So if we have this power within us, and maybe we haven't recognized it yet, and we don't know yet, you could actually pray somebody into life. And so with that being said, John, would you mind shutting off the lights for a moment? I'm gonna share this with you because I want you to see it. It was just on the news.
Eighth grader John Smith is doing something doctors never believed would be possible.
I don't really remember much about it, to be honest.
He is walking and talking, here with his pastor Jason Noble by his side, and trying to make sense of how he's not just alive, but thriving after being underwater for 15 minutes.
Listening to what the paramedics and doctors said, I'm pretty surprised. The outcome.
An outcome some say fits in with all of the other miracles that day and in the days that followed. Like the fact Lake St. Louis Fire and Emergency crews had just practiced ice rescues the week before they pulled John out. And a doctor who was on duty in the emergency room at SSM St. Joseph Hospital West the day of the accident, Dr. Kent Suter, whose daughter is in the same class with John at Living Word Christian School.
In my mind, this is a very grim, very poor chance at survival.
Dr. Suter and his team performed CPR on John for 27 minutes with no success. The question was raised, how long should they continue?
Everybody says, well, the cold helped him. He was dead for over 45 minutes.
What happened next defies explanation. Dr. Suter called John's mother into the room to give her the news.
John's mom came in and started praying about it.
I don't remember what all I said, but I remember telling God, please send your Holy Spirit to save my son. I want my son, please save him. And they hadn't been getting a pulse at that time, and so all of a sudden I heard them start saying, we've got a pulse, we've got a pulse.
Within a matter of a minute or two, his heart started again.
It's an experience that's shaken many of those in the emergency room that day. This veteran of responding to medical crisis wrote a letter about it as a way to cope.
But that's when his heart was jump-started by the Holy Spirit, listening to the request of his praying mother.
Dr. Jeremy Garrett, who oversaw John's recovery, even goes a step further.
This is a bona fide miracle.
John was airlifted to Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center about 2 hours after the accident. Dr. Garrett said he knew within about the first 16 hours after John's arrival that his body would physically survive the ordeal. What he didn't know was how much brain function he would have.
As the lungs aren't full of water, they're starting to develop inflammation.
But within 48 hours, family members reported things he didn't expect, like John opening his eyes. Then relatives told him this teen, who loves to play and watch basketball, was responding to questions about his two favorite players.
Did a very interesting neurologic exam. We said, well, John, pretend your left hand is LeBron James and your right hand is Michael Jordan. Then asked him a series of questions and he got them all right. It was really amazing.
What's happened since then has been a dizzying rate of continuous recovery, one even doctors are trying to keep up with.
And to watch your son sit up and amaze the doctors. I mean, from the neurologist coming in and say, we don't know what to do next because we've never seen this before.
While we were visiting, John's rescuers from the Lake St. Louis Fire Department showed up bringing lunch. Seeing for themselves the boy who survived 15 minutes under the ice.
I know it doesn't fit inside our little comfortable box of today, but again, you can't refute the clinical evidence.
And while his parents haven't spoken to their son about his impulsive decision to walk out on the ice that day with two friends, they know their son has learned more than any lecture could teach him.
It's a real miracle that I'm alive, and I thank God that I'm alive, and there's a reason I'm alive. I just kind of gotta follow what God has in store for me throughout my life.
Now that's amazing, isn't it? And that power is in you, and it's in me, and it's in you, it's in you, and it's in you, and it's in you, and it's in you. ability that when we call out to the Creator, to initiate that I am that is within each one of us, and to connect that energy and just be a conduit, that's all that we need to do. So last week when we were together, people were mind blown when I said this question to you. Here's a brain cell, and here's the universe. Here's a brain cell, and here's the universe. Here's the birth of a cell, here's the death of a star. Here's the iris, and here's the nebula. Is there a possibility that our universe, which mirrors our brain cells, is the brain cells to what this source of creation is? And we are within it, and it is within us. And people last week went, mind blown, mind blown. Yes, that is a possibility. So if that is the case, and that we have this ability, it says to knock and the door shall be open. It says, even you shall do greater things than I. It says that the kingdom is within you. So if we're this amazing being, if our brain, it's faster than any computer that exists, and our eyes take in more information than any camera can take in, if we are evolving and we are learning and we are growing, doesn't it make sense how just the questioning is going to keep your self-perpetuating knowledge to continue? Because when you question, you get an answer, which causes what? More questioning. Seek and you shall find. Seek isn't, oh, Susie, can you tell me about how the world was made? That's not seeking. Seeking is, Susie, can you please share with me? I'm open. I don't have any preconceived ideas. I don't know how this world was made. I have an idea, but I don't know. Can you share that information with me? And I'll sit here as long as I need to, and I'll be quiet and disciplined, and I'll show up every day at this time so that you can teach me. Will you do that for me? That is seeking. And so many times we seek by, teach me how the world was made. I'm too busy, I gotta watch the Super Bowl, and I need to buy this, and I got this business to do, and I got that business to do. Oh, you're gonna tell me how the world's made, right? But I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. And, I can't meet, I can't meditate, I'm too busy, I'm too distracted, I gotta buy this. I know, this is beautiful. That is quite beautiful. I really love it. I'm gonna go out and shop for that. I'm gonna get that. What do you do? You always look so beautiful. I'll go buy that too. And I rode in your van. Your van was really nice. I'm going to go test drive that. And the other day when you and I met, all I could think about over and over and over again was all these different places that I could go to initiate more information. And so I got on the computer and started researching that. I'll get back to that in a little while. And this is how we seek. And the Creator's going, I want to tell you. I want to tell you, but I show up, and you're too busy. You're too busy doing and going and doing and being and doing and doing. So I'm going to invite you to watch this next video before we really start digging into the dirt. Because we're really going to dig today. And today you might love it, and today you might hate it. Because when we dig, that onion makes us cry sometimes, remember? Remember how I said we cry sometimes when we start peeling back the onion layers? So watch this video and really allow it. Try to watch it without judgment. And this is very difficult for us as humans because we judge a lot, right? We label from the time we're little. Good, bad, right, wrong. Everything is labeled. Police officer, fire. What is it called? Fire. The fire people.
Firefighters.
Thank you. I was like, it's there. The firefighters, paramedics, the doctors, the teachers, the Pope, the pastors, everything is labeled, right? So I'm going to ask you to try to step back for a moment without the labels, without the judgment, and just listen.
Here's a thought for you. What is the greatest computer? Mac, PC? How about the huge mainframe computers they have at NASA? No. You see, up here in our heads, this is the greatest computer. And your eyes, I see you still have your eyes open, that's good. But do you know what you are seeing? I mean, really seeing? Every single second, your eyes take in 72 gigabytes of information. The world's greatest camera. Now, is that not incredible? A computer and a camera. And this data, this code, is up here behind the firewall of our personality. 86 billion neurons evolved to understand, to translate, to give us our vision of the world around us. The mountains, rivers, great savannas, every animal in all their incredible shapes and sizes. Friends, family, lovers, the people around you now, everything and everyone you have ever met are all here. They're all stories, memories, charged with emotion. Your happiness, your sadness, your joy, frustration, your loves lost. And this collection of stories makes you an ongoing project that only comes to an end when you die. Your memories are your life. Above all, we have the genetic imperative, a unique desire to share what makes us human, our sense of self, and our ability to share who we are, our greatest gift. Let's rewind. Cave paintings, first we paint to say I was here, then we paint to say why we are here, to pass on knowledge, experience, to build on what we know. For this is evolution, sharing for survival. We share more and more. Now we share our friends, we share our favorite on YouTube, our location, we share intimate photos. Maybe sometimes a little more after a few drinks. Every time we share, we are reflecting our personality, ourselves. But this is normal. Innovation changes the game. Always. 20,000 years ago, 1,000, 10 years, tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Interference is a good thing. Whether it be a smile or a tattoo, the phone in your pocket. Disruption and innovation of all sorts creates rifts and makes possible unimaginable leaps forward in technology and communication. Today, we see a world on fire with data, information. There's a revolution on the corner. It's less than a total translation of our human emotions, these urges into information. Pure communication. I believe we are at the frontier. Ahead lies the internet of being, an internet of pure emotion, genuine connection, to finally take us beyond the cave painting. This is not science fiction. Doctors can talk to people in homes. You can control your thought with your mind. This is now. A world of shared emotion, where the greatest experiences are magnified a million times. Can you imagine love? Now can you imagine a love that is a billion times more powerful than empathy, true feeling? A new future, a world that we will create, but the borders of language will be gone. Imagine what we will be able to achieve. Remember me. Remember where you were. next generation of social media is coming. For tomorrow is the future we all share.
So it talks about the next generation of social media. We're already here. It's already here. The most powerful form of social media is this. It's this interaction. On a computer, we lack our connection, don't we? Here, there's a big difference when my heart connects with your heart, Dante. That's very different than I'm on Facebook. Our connection, we are like the World Wide Web, because we are. We're all connected. So the Pope talks about, because there's been this argument forever about evolution and creation, right? Was it evolution or was it creation? It was evolution. No, it was creation. No, it was evolution. No, it was creation. What if it's both? Wouldn't that make sense? That the Creator would make you so magnificent that you would evolve? As a mother, I know what I want for my children. I want them to evolve. I want them to be better. I want them to be everything they can possibly be. Everything. Don't you think that the Creator of all of this would want the same thing? Want for us more than we can ever imagine. It's both. We were created to evolve. That's why we are here today, and you're sitting here today, and I knew today, I said one of two things are going to happen. One, either the room is going to be so packed, you won't be able to fit another soul in here. Or two, suddenly there'll be lots of things that distract people from being here. And here's why. When you're ready, even if it's been your first time, when you're ready, the Creator will put you where you need to be, to hear what you need to hear. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
Your guides guide you. The Creator nudges you and puts you in places of where you can become all of that and more. So if we are looking at Scripture and we hear where it says, ask and it you shall, seek and you shall, knock and the door will be opened. How many of you played Ding Dong Ditch when you were little? How many of you played Ding Dong Ditch? Y'all know what you... Okay, Ding Dong Ditch is where you went and knocked on the door or rang the doorbell. See, when I was a kid, there weren't doorbells. It was just knockers. You just used your hand to knock on the door. Okay, so you knocked on the door and then you ran away. And you hid in the bushes and you waited to see who came to the door, right? Okay, I have a question. How many of you Ding Dong Ditched God? Or the Creator, or Buddha, or whatever the source is. How many of you Ding Dong Ditched? Be honest. Be honest. If you Ding Dong Ditched, you have. How many of you have been in a situation when you went, if you just save me, if you get me out of this, I swear, I promise, I will do anything and everything. I will commit myself to you. I will. How many of you have done it? How many has that happened? Okay. Or I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to be disciplined. I am ready to root into this power that's in me. I'm ready to seek. I'm going to seek. I'm going to seek. I'm going to seek. And then all of a sudden we're seeking a distraction of television shows or video games or shopping or buying or the many things that you see flashing at you. How many of you drive down the road and things just flash at you all the time about you should buy more? You should buy more. If you don't have this, this will make you happy. So we have all that distraction, right? It's a distraction to keep us away from where we need to be. The division between us about me being right and you being wrong has been created purposely to keep us from evolving, to keep us from starting. How many times have you heard somebody either be ugly because somebody's culture was different, somebody's belief system was different, they lived their life different, they went to a different school, lived in a different subdivision? That's division, 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 division. And we're actually communal beings. We were meant to live communally. We want to live communally. I love other cultures, just to let you know, Because other cultures outside of the United States, you don't have this, you're 18, get out of the house. You don't have that. You have parents and grandparents and families living together in community. In community. Take a twig, and what happens? You can break it. Take a bundle of twigs. Is it stronger? When we stand together, unified, when our energy is in the seeking energy, we find. So sometimes we get into the ding-dong ditching God. It's okay. Sometimes it happens. It does. This is my tangent time. My tangent time. I'm going to go off. So ding-dong ditching is fine. You know, it's fine when you do it as a little kid. But would you want to be doing it when you're our age? It takes on a whole new level, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. If you were to go ding-dong ditch somebody and got caught, it'd be very different than if you were 7 ding-dong ditching somebody, wouldn't you? It'd be very different. Now people are going to look at you and go, what's your problem? Like, what's the issue? Do we need to help you in some way? Do you need a doctor? Is there something that we can do for you? Because it's very different. So if we're ding-dong ditching when we're little, that's all right. But when we get to a certain age of knowing, a certain consciousness, to ding-dong ditch isn't quite the best thing anymore. You know, when we start saying we're disciplined to do something. So in Matthew, it talks about seek the kingdom, what? First, right? And Jeremiah, it says what? You will seek me and find me when you seek me with what? Now wait, do you remember the Bhagavad Gita said where was the Creator? In your heart. Ajwana was in your heart, right? So seek with all your heart. Seeking with all your heart isn't tell me how the world's made. It is, can you tell me how the world's made? And I'll sit here and be quiet every day at this time to hear you, to hear what you have to say to me. It's so funny because in this culture, one of the tangent times I wanted to talk about was how everybody thinks it's okay for us pastors to be able to talk to God and hear what the Creator has to say. But if somebody else says, you know, I was talking to God, and God told me, you go, 911, there's a little bit of a crazy person here. They need to be, because there's a separation. They think only pastors, or only holy people, or only medicine people can speak with the great source. You can speak with the great source. I can speak with the great source. We all can speak to the great source. So if you have the power that you can pray somebody back from the dead, would it make sense that you can pray someone out of illness, out of sickness? How many of you think you can have the ability to heal? I'm going to introduce you to a medicineless hospital in Beijing. I'm going to set this video so that you can look. I'm going to ask that you watch. On one side of the screen, it's an ultrasound, and it shows a tumor in the bladder. Okay? And on the other side of the screen, it's a live feed. So they take a picture so that you can see what the tumor looks like, and they leave it on the screen. And then on the other side of the screen is the live feed of what's going on with this tumor during this session with these 3 doctors at this medicineless hospital. So I will point with my pointer and interject a couple things.
The center has successfully treated more than 180 types of illnesses, including bladder cancer.
这是在那个汤王，加热出的做菜，和一个压糊这么一个。
So you see the tumor there.
气而表示，还有愉快的力量法气。
This one is the live feed. So this one's a still picture live feed. Right here. Keep your eye here. How many of you would say that's a miracle? You'd say that's a miracle. Medicineless hospital. Medicineless. Everything is energy. Everything is done through energy. And what they do is, remember last week when we were talking about quantum entanglement, quantum physics, and I showed you how we all get entangled in each other's field of energy, and then we're connected? Well, if you look at the Schrodinger's cat theory, just to let you know, Schrodinger's cat theory is, until you observe something, there's a plethora of different outcomes that could take place, right? So what these doctors do is they create this place of love in their heart. And they see that person as being fully healed as they're praying. But what do we do as people? As people, we're young, right? And children do what? Children are full of life, aren't they? I love kids. I love children. I just think they're amazing. They come into a room and they're, hi, you want to play? You want to be my friend? And there's no worry, there's just happiness. But as we get older and we have heartache, what do we start doing? We start closing our heart space. We start backing away from people. I'm just happy with me and my spouse. Thank you very much. No, I'm not interested in socializing at all. That's all pain that is talking, and we're closing off our heart space. And if God is in our heart, and if that, now scientifically they've been able to prove that the heart waves are 5,000 times stronger than the brain waves. 5,000 times stronger than the brain waves, the heart waves. So if this is the case, why would we close that up? If we close it up, we don't just block what's coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We block what's going out. You cannot love fully and completely from your heart space if you are pushing people away. It takes courage to keep your heart space open. A lot of courage. So how do we hone our abilities to be able to open up these abilities? First of all, you have to know you have 4, just like you ride in a car and there's 4 wheels. How many of you have a car? Have you ridden in it lately? Was it a smooth ride? How many of you rode around with one tire flat for a little while? Or maybe something severely deflated. So you have the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body, the etheric body. It's like 4 tires on a car. If I have one that's flated and the other ones are not, what happens? Is the ride easy? No. So we have to get our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, all in line so that our spiritual body can do what it's meant to do. Does that make sense? Doesn't it? I mean, it makes common sense when you think about it. Like you really think, well, my physical body is hurting in some way, like I'm not having movement. Every spiritual book talks about how we're not creatures to sit and be sedentary and be lazy. So if we have our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, then our spiritual body can do everything that's meant to do. Some of our physical body, because this is what I'm going to talk about today, because this is what most people battle with, is this. It's this. It is our heart spaces shut down. How many of you are going to be honest with me right now? How many of you have spaces in your heart you closed off? Be honest. We all do it. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. If you have a preacher or a pastor or anybody else that says that their heart space, they haven't closed off parts of their heart space before, I will tell you, you might want to find somebody else, because that is not true. It is natural for us when we get hurt to try to close this off. But one of the things that dramatically affect our way of being and our ability to be able to fully connect to the creative source, whether you call it God or Buddha or anything else, Yahweh, Jehovah, Jesus, the key is being able to connect. If you have to go, ladies, I love you. We're running a little bit. Please don't. Why are you sorry?
Because I want to stay.
Well, we will hold space for you here for the next time.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I could tell y'all needed to go when you were like, oh, I don't want to interrupt. Please, please, absolutely. Thank you for coming. So, you have your fruits and your vegetables, right? This is going to be very quick. Okay. Low energy vibration, it means it's denser. It's denser, it's heavier. Higher energy vibration. What about the environmental impact? Well, you flip the pyramid upside down, and when you get to meat and everything, that environmental impact on the earth is quite high. Actually, it's the #1 polluter of the earth is the meat industry, just to let you know. Meat industry. The meat industry, processing cows, chickens, pork, pigs.
What did you say it was?
The meat industry is the heaviest polluter of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
So you go here and you see that guess what? Low and high. All right. So high vibrational foods, vegetables, things that have life in it. Vegetables, organic foods, superfoods, salt. Meaning Himalaya salt, not salt, iodized salt, because it's bleached and it's processed in a way that it just kills all of the life force out of it. And the Bible talks about, and there's many spiritual books that talk about, why would you eat salt that's dead? Himalaya sea salt has 87 different trace minerals in it. It's alive. It gives off a megahertz. It gives off a hertz, which is a high function. I'm getting ready to show it to you. Reiki-infused foods, sweets and treats like cacao or goji berries. All right. So, Kirlian, how many of you have heard Kirlian photography? Okay. It was created back in 1930s and was when it originally started being worked with a lot. This is Kirlian photography. It was taking a picture of different foods to measure the energetic outflow. So how many of you agree with me we're all energy? We're energy. Okay, so if I'm energy and like energy creates like energy, remember if I'm angry and I come at you, you get angry. Right? So like energy creates like energy. What if I'm consuming it? Is it going to create like energy? Be mindful. This is where the disconnect of what we put into our mouth and what we consume, what we drink and what we eat. What we consume, whether it's smoking, drinking, eating, anything we're allowing into our physical body is going to affect us. So this is an organic cacao nib. Look at that. And look at the goji berry. That's amazing. I know, you're going to get hungry here in just a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Here's live cabbage. Do you see all the sparkles and life force? Oh, what happened when we cooked it? It died. It died. It's dead. There's nothing there. Now, we want it to feed our life energy, but then we cook it to death. How many of you had grandparents that said, don't overcook your veggies? You're cooking the life out of it. My grandma, why are you cooking? You're cooking the life out of it. All the time. Every time I put anything on heat. Why are you doing that? Okay. Here's a tomato that's raw. Look at that. Look at this slightly cooked. Look at how much life force force. You see all these dark areas? That's where it no longer has life force. Here is a raw piece of meat. Here is a medium rare piece of meat. Even the meat gives off a life force. But you see the difference? I want to show you something. The difference between that and that, and that, as far as the energy outflow of it. Raw organic lemon. Here's a raw organic mushroom. Holy baloney, that is amazing. We share 25% of our DNA with mushrooms. Did you guys know that? 25% with mushrooms. What's wrong with this mushroom? Why doesn't it look the same? It's commercially grown. The difference between that and that, commercially grown. Here's an apple. Ooh, apple a day keeps the doctor away. How many of you ever heard that when you were growing up? Got a lot of information. You see that you really can't see anything in this? This was a cooked apple.
Wow.
Nothing to even look at. A lentil that is sprouted foods, lots and lots and lots of high vibrations there. So, if you're looking at the benefits of fasting, and I'm going to move through it very, very quickly because people are asking. These are different studies that were done with mice. This showed that they lived longer and were less likely to develop cancer and other diseases as they aged. What they did is they took the rats and they put them on a diet, so to speak. So they gave this one set of rats, all these rats, all the food they could consume. They let them consume them all. And then these other set of rats, they only allowed them so much food. Look at what happened. Seems to delay the development of disorders that led to death. Extends the lifespan by 1/3 or more. Lowers the risk of degenerative brain diseases. Protects neurons against various kinds of damaging stresses. Intermittent fasting protects against stroke damage, suppresses motor deficits in a mouse model of Parkinson's disease, and slows cognitive decline in mice genetically engineered to mimic the symptoms of Alzheimer's. Fasting. See, this is why when I ask people, well, do you ever fast? Even if it's just 1 meal a day. Maybe you just decide you're going to fast 1 meal a day. You're going to fast for dinner. You're going to eat breakfast and lunch, no dinner. Or maybe you're going to fast at the beginning of the year. A lot of places will do a fasting, right? Why are we doing this? It's because this is your antenna. 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 Remember the rabbit ears? We all love them. Remember you had to stand on your head, put one foot up in the air, poke it here and poke it over there, and then you're like, oh. And then they're like, oh, we got reception, stay right there. So if we are rabbit ears, if we're an antenna, we have to, number one, do what? Get our bodies into the right energetic flow. A lot of that has to do with the food that we consume. A lot of that has to do with the food we consume. Louisiana-based physician James Johnson, who co-authored a 2006 analysis of the study's results. In the Spanish study, 60 elderly men and women fasted and feasted on alternate days for 3 years. The 60 participants spent 123 days in the infirmary, and 6 died. Meanwhile, the 60 of non-fasting seniors racked up 219, almost 100 more days in the infirmary, and double died. From fasting? It's in the spiritual books. See, we read these spiritual books, but then we don't want to be disciplined to do it.
Sure you did.
A lot of us don't, though, right? We do what I do. I want you to tell me, and then I gotta go watch the Super Bowl. I got business. I got this. I got that. I gotta do. I gotta do. I gotta be. I gotta go. I gotta. So if you knew, I have a question. If you really knew, and I'm going to ask to see your hands on this. If you really knew that you could pray people back to life, and you could pray illness out of them, and you could pray us into a different way of being, if you really, really knew that, how many of you would be disciplined as all get out to do it? But what we do is we have gotten into we want immediate gratification. And if we don't see it, I've been meditating for a month. Wow. I hear that a lot. I meditated for a whole month, it didn't do anything. And I thought, wow, first you're angry. Can I show you the cone? You know, you have to stick with it. It's a passion. I don't like using the word discipline because I have oppositional defiance disorder. When somebody tells me to do something, I want to do the exact opposite of what they told me I had to do. Even if I was born that way. My dad said, you were born that way. At 2 days old, I didn't want somebody to hold me. I held my breath until I passed out. My dad said it just was, that's the way you were born. You came into this life this way, and this is the way you were. So if you tell me I have to, you must be disciplined to do this, I am not going to want to do it. So I have decided to interchange that to passion, because when you're passionate about something, you naturally want to do it, right? When you're passionate about it, you get out of bed and you want to go, you want to meditate, you want to eat right, you want to exercise right, you want to be in the flow. So I'm telling you today, you can do anything. You can pray people back to life. You can do hands-on healing. You can change this world. The question is, will you be passionate enough to follow it? Will you be passionate enough that every decision that you make, we have to realize this, as an energy, whenever I come in contact with any other energy, it's going to influence me in some way, or I'm going to influence that in some way. It's going to influence me. Everything I allow in my ears, my eyes, my head, everything I consume, all the noises, the frequencies that I listen to, are all going to influence my energetic being. So, every decision you make, are you willing to ask yourself, is this getting me? Is it getting me to the point of being able to harness all of that incredible power to help not just me and my family, but to help this entire world that we live on? You have the power. Do you have the passion? I'm not here to tell you how to believe or what to do. I'm here to just ask you the question. If you really, in your heart, if you want to help humanity, if you want to make a difference, you must find the passion to pursue that. It has to come. And some of that means we have to dig through the crap. If we have unresolved issues, traumas, anger, rage, any of the denser vibrations, we have to dig through that. We have to bring that back up. Typically, the reason why it's there is because we suppressed it. We got into a situation we couldn't talk about it. Or, I just loved it. How many of you had a childhood that you really wanted to tell your parents all? But you didn't have the voice. Like they were doing something and you could see so clearly as a kid, that's jacked up. Why are you doing that? But you didn't have you couldn't, your parent, quack! That was my mother, what? Whack! Right across, and I would just, oh. And now, if I'm fighting with somebody, like play fighting, like wrestling, my kids, and they go to smack me in my face, it tears me out of my frame. Until I could resolve the issue that I had no power when I was little to be able to tell my mother that what she was doing was incorrect or wrong in some way or harmful in some way. So I still had that in me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we have to dig, and this is where the onion comes in, the crying. I have to feel the anger that I didn't allow myself to feel. I have to feel it and be present with it. If somebody did me wrong, I have to feel it and be present with it, and I have to let it go. Hate, anger, and rage are only hurting you. They're not hurting anybody else, love. The monks say it's like drinking poison and wanting somebody else to die. As you're sitting there drinking, you're gonna die. You're dying. That would be ludicrous, right? We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't drink a big thing of poison and think somebody else was gonna die. So it's all about digging into where we're at. Dr. McCullough says fasting increased insulin sensitivity and mitochondrial energy efficiency. It reduced oxidative stress. By the way, oxidative stress is huge in the body. It's like rust in a car, just to let you know, oxidative stress is. Increased capacity to resist stress, disease, and aging. I don't know about you guys, but I'm at that age that Reducing aging would be beautiful. I kind of enjoyed in my 20s and my 30s when I did it, or heck, even in my early 40s, you know. But it reduced aging. Matthew says, when you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show men they are fasting. It's like the Pharisees when they wore all of their big ordinate things and walked out and went, I'm praying, see me praying. It's the people that run right up and get in the very front row of the pew, and as soon as they leave church, they're talking about everybody in a negative way, in a bad way. But look at me, I'm praying. I'm here, I'm praying. So it's talking about when we fast, don't be, I'm fast. I'm fast. You can fast in lots of different ways. It can be just one meal a day. It can be, you say, I'm going to spend 2 to 3 days, and I am going,
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Go ahead.
sorry, somebody just came in we didn't see for a long time. So when you're fasting, you can fast for a couple of days, right? 2 or 3 days, you can fast for a week. You can do a master cleanse, or you can decide, I'm going to fast just by cutting meat out of my diet for the next month, 30 days. I'm gonna not have meat for 30 days. I'm going to see how I feel different, okay? Acts, again, talks about fasting when they put elders in the church. Isaiah talks about fasting and losing the chains of injustice. I love this, and I want to read this because there's more to it than what we're doing physically. What we do mentally and emotionally has a lot to do with where we're at, as well with our energy. So I'm going to step down so that you guys can look at this, and I'll read it. Is not this kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? Now, again, it's showing our connection here. Not to turn away from your own flesh and blood. Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, here I am. If you do away with the yoke of oppression, with the pointing finger and malicious talk, and if you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose water never fails. So it's not just about us meditating, is it? It's not just about us eating right, is it? It's about us also helping each other. It's about us spurring each other on. It's about us helping the needy. When you walk past somebody that's hungry and you say, it's because they're on drugs, that is an excuse you're telling yourself to justify your lack of doing something. It's true. We justify our behavior all the time. Well, they're on drugs. They're an alcoholic. They're this, they're that, they're a... It's not your job to tell them how they spend that $5, and you don't know if they will go buy food or water. This is why we go out and we give food and we give water. And we don't give money because we don't know exactly how that money will be utilized. So we want to help them. But there have been many times I've walked past somebody that's hungry and I've given them money. Did I know if they were a druggie? No. Did I know if they were an alcoholic? No. Is it my place to judge them for that? And are we not judging them when we say, well, they're an alcoholic, so basically they can starve? Isn't that a judgment? And we're told not to judge. But we judge ourselves first. That's another thing. We want to get to this place, but we want to continue to judge ourselves. We want to continue to be angry. We want to continue to be without passion. So we only want to pump up the tire that's comfortable. We only want to peel the outer layer of the onion before you get to the inner layer, and it makes you cry. We don't want to touch the inner layer. We're just going to peel the outer layer. So there are many things, many things. The Shabbat, this is a holy book from people in India, says, O human being, whatever you can see with your eyes shall perish. The world eats dead carcasses, living by neglect and greed. Now, how many of you know anything about the meat industry? How many of you know how the pigs are being treated or the cows are being treated? How many of you looked into that? People are like, I don't want to watch that. If I have to watch that, I won't eat it. That's the point. If I am torturing an animal before I put it to death, and then I kill it, all that trauma is in that tissue. And then I'm going to eat it and put it into my energy flow. Do you see? The frequency on the radio has been shifted out of a harmonious state and into a disharmonious state. That's why we studied salvatio frequencies. Is because everything that you allow in your field of energy affects your abilities. Everything. Everything. I'm not telling you not to eat meat. This is your decision. I'm not telling you how to eat. It's your decision. I'm not telling you how to meditate. It's your decision. I'm not telling you you have to go out and deal with your anger. It's your decision. I'm not telling you you have to help the homeless, the needy. It's your decision. All I'm saying is that all the spiritual books gave us the roadmap to reach enlightenment. And if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Everybody. It's not easy. I knew myself to the point where I knew that I had to do really drastic things. So I had to do things like be buried in the earth for 10 days. Because when you're buried in the earth and you don't have much oxygen, and it's just you, and there's no way out, you really quickly learn to deal with your demons. You really quickly learn to resolve your stuff. But see, I knew myself to that level. I knew that I couldn't just go and study with the monks. That'd be too easy. I had to do something that just challenged life itself. I had to spend 30 days in the jungle by myself with no one else, with no shelter. I had to do these things because I knew that that's what it would take for me to find my passion, to be disciplined, to do all of these things that we're talking about. I'm not telling you you have to do it. And I don't want you to feel guilty if you don't do it, because guilt's even worse. Guilt is one of the lowest frequencies, guilt and shame, that you can ever be in. And that's the problem, is a lot of us walk around with guilt and shame. Guilt because things we did when we were a kid that our parents told us we were going to go straight to you know where if we did it. You know, guilt of I wasn't there when my mama needed me. Guilt of I wasn't there when my sister or my brother, I wasn't there when my brother died. I wasn't there. I wasn't with him when he passed. That's horrible. Now I can either allow that guilt to root into my energy, or I can say, if I was meant to be with him when he passed, I would have been with him. That I had been with him energetically since he was born, and he is so important to me. My ego wanted to put me in guilt, so then therefore, guess what happens? Enlightenment doesn't happen and the ego can stay driving. If you look at kosher, kosher is the Jewish way of people eating. The Seventh-day Adventists have a different way of eating. We started studying all these different cultures, and we found that like Mormon women had the lowest form of breast cancer, and it was because of the way they ate. So this is why I put all of the different ways that people eat. When you're eating kosher, they base it on biblically prohibited foods. Things like pork would be. Okay? Again, I like this. I like to look at this because it shows me different aspects of what's healthy for our body. When we were originally created, we were created to do what? Originally. Who said procreate? Very good. Procreate. What was the other way that we ate?
Raw.
Raw. Raw. We ate vegetables and fruits. We didn't do fire. We didn't do heat. So there's a lot of information that's in our history from the ancient knowledge that has been, and this is why the records, how many of you know about the records being burned? Like in Jerusalem, it was destroyed and all the records were burned. And there's reasons why these books have been hidden from us, Because think about one enlightened individual, just one. Most people will go to Jesus and think of Jesus, or they'll go to Buddha and think of Buddha. How much trouble did that one person cause? A whole lot, didn't it? Now, can you imagine if 100,000 of us woke up? There's 7 billion people on this planet. 7 billion. 100,000 become enlightened. You change the world in a skinny second. In a skinny second. In Islam, again, it talks about the foods that should not be eaten. The Quran talks again about foods that should not be eaten. And Daniel, it was him being held by the king, and he asked, please, to not make him eat meat, to have him eat vegetables. Romans. And the reason why I want to show you this one is because of this. I'm not telling you how to eat. I'm not telling you to fast. I'm not telling you anything. I'm giving you information that you can either take with it and say, this resonates with me, and I am really wanting to enhance my abilities to heal or to change the world in any way. Romans says very clearly, as for the one who is weak in faith, ooh, go back. As for the one who is weak in faith, welcome him, but not to quarrel over opinions. One person believes he may eat meat, eat anything, while the weak person eats only vegetables. Let not the one who eats despise the one who abstains, and let not the one who abstains pass judgment on the one who eats, for God has welcomed him. Who are you to pass judgment on the servant of another? So let's not quarrel about it. Let's not say, I'm right and you're wrong. Let's not say, I'm a vegan and you should be vegan, because I don't know. What I will tell you is from my walk, from my spiritual walk, I will share with you. There are a couple of pivotal things if you really want to get in touch with the energy that can flow through you, that you can be the conduit. And one of the first things that I will tell you is what you're consuming. It makes a huge difference in your ability to allow that energy to flow through you. How many of you have ever done something you got real nauseous, you had just eaten and you did it? How about eat and go for a run? How about eat and do pranayama? You try doing pranayama after you ate, and you're gonna, here's why. Because the energy that you're building up is too high for the dense energy that is in your gut, and it's gonna want to release it. So don't quarrel. Don't say, well, I have to be vegetarian or vegan. You don't. You don't have to be anything. What is in your heart? What do you want? The other thing is that in all of the holy books it talks about meditation. Harvard just did a study and found that after 8 weeks of meditation, that they did brain mapping before and afterwards, and they found that it completely rebuilt the gray brain matter. Completely rebuilt the gray brain matter. Brain matter. I mean, if that doesn't talk to you, I want you to go take a science class, because that's absolutely fabulous. It rebuilt it. All the books tell us how to do this. But what do? We're instant gratification. Well, I meditated for a month. I did it for 2 months. I didn't really do it every day. Well, I kind of did it maybe once a week. Well, sometimes once a week. Sometimes it was once every other week. Sometimes, well, in the month, I probably meditated a total of, maybe 8 times. But it's kind of like working out. How many of you go to the gym at the beginning of the year? And all those people are there, and you're like, oh, you guys get out. You weren't here. You're not going to be here in 3 months. In 3 months, they won't be there. Why? Because they get discouraged, because they're not getting the result that they want. I will share that you can have a stroke of insight where all of a sudden you get a huge download. But will I tell you that's how it typically happens to become enlightened? It typically is you find the passion to do all the things, all the building blocks, the foundation to get there. So when you plant a seed of love, it is you that blossoms. When you peel back the onion layers, you pull it apart, you peel it apart. What you're going to find is you. a better, more compassionate, stronger, more powerful, more loving, more caring, more giving, more joyous, happier person. And you're going to realize that that onion has always been Lotus. You just needed to peel it open. I love the Dalai Lama, this saying, and I will use it very often. If you think you are too small, try sleeping with a mosquito. Because everybody goes, I can't do that. I'm insignificant. Really? Try sleeping with a mosquito. See how that works out. Or a fly, one of the big black ones that likes to come right here, just when you're done. Again. If it doesn't nourish your soul, get rid of it. If you're angry about someone in your life, it doesn't mean they're bad or they're wrong. It may mean that you guys aren't meant to flow together. It's okay. You don't have to say you're bad and I'm cutting you out of my life. You can just create a distance. If someone is degrading you, belittling you, demeaning you, pressing you down, create distance until that person can shift. You are very powerful, but only if you know you are. Only if you know you are. Before we close for the day with our closing prayer, I forgot something, and Scout let me know. This place is founded and ran off of donations. Electricity, rent. If you feel so called to donate, we are going to pass a basket. If you're a first time here, please do not. Please do not. Please, we don't want that. If you are at a place in your life where money flow is not abundant, you're strained, something in your life shifted, you lost your job, anything. Please, when the basket comes past you, all I ask that you do is you hold it and you place your love and intention into that basket. That is more powerful than anything. And we will close. I will say a closing meditation, and then I ask for you to give just a couple of minutes to listen to Jim Carrey. And I'm going to ask yourself this question, and it's a rhetorical question. Don't answer it out loud. If you know you have the power, if you know it's inside you, if you know that you can do it, it's through watching the videos, through knowing your own heart, and through your own being, you know that you can do this. Do you have the passion that will fuel it? Passion is energy in motion. The greatest energy in motion that you can have is love, gratitude, and passion. When you fuel a thought or an idea with those feelings, because people are like, why isn't this manifesting thing working? I'm like, well, you're sending it out to the universe, but you don't have any emotion behind it. Like, you're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, that feels so great to be in receiving of that, and that's coming to me, and I am so thankful, and oh wow, I am in such gratitude, and now I send it. Do you see the difference? It's energy. It's charged. It's charged. Beautiful. It's kind of like the Kirlian photography. I now have charged it. Actually, because we didn't have time, I did have Kirlian photography of healers when they're sending energy, and you could actually see the energy flow. Because we don't have another time, I promise, another time, but you can also Google it. So, I would like to invite Andrew up to do, Andrew and the band, to do the chant, why the basket is passed. I didn't have time to do the slide. Sorry, Glenn.
We learned a new chant, but we're going to save that for next. next time because it's kind of complex. So we're just going to do it home for you guys.
Meditation and blessing over the basket. We are the ones we've been waiting for. When we shake our hand up at the Creator and we say, why aren't you doing something about the pain and the suffering that's here? The Creator says, I did. I made you. He made each one of us, every single one of us. He made us for amazing things. Things that sometimes are beyond our comprehension. He made us to care for the earth and to care for each other, to live in community and to give back to our community. He made you powerful. Will you accept that? Will you allow that to come into your energy flows? Open your palms. Plant your feet. Breathe in deeply and fully. Allow the messages from today to seek in and soak in. Absorb. You are powerful. You're an amazing being of light, and you are only driving a meat-covered skeleton in this life. Will you allow the power that you have to be activated? When flow through you. And as you exhale into receiving the blessings, the wisdom, the understanding. Wakatonka, Tinkashala, Mahil, Creator of all things, big and small. We come before you in a good way, and we are only asking for good things. We are so grateful, Great Spirit, to be together again in harmony and in balance with each other. We give thanks for this time together, and we ask you, it is so difficult for some of us to know how powerful we are, to accept that. Let us accept it here, now. Creator, Grandfather, hear our hearts. We lift ourselves up to remembering. Give us the knowledge and the wisdom from the buffalo who sits in the north. Help us to remember our walk here on this earthly plane. Let us remember that our strength and our power is to be used for good. Let us remember that everything seated in love will flourish into a beautiful garden filled with majestic colors, filled with all of who we are. Help us to remember we are connected to all our brothers and our sisters. Give us the vision of the eagle that sits in the east. Awaken us into a new way of being, into a new consciousness. Give us the passion that burns in our soul, of the fire that sits in the south, that the wolf will bring us intelligence to live in community. Creator, as we transform and realize that we have always been the lotus, give us the passion to unlock and to receive, to unlock the spaces of our heart that we have hidden from each other and from ourselves. Activate our DNA that is awaiting the activation of enlightenment and of understanding and of love and compassion. As we breathe in, we breathe this light in to us. We feel the love flow over us, and we receive in gratitude. May we walk gracefully, gently on Mother Earth, caring for her, with love in our hearts and kindness on our lips. As we ask, so it shall be. Amen. Aho. Aho. Great Spirit, Creator, this basket has been filled with many people who have given from their heart. We lift this to you, and we ask that you will bless it abundantly, exceedingly, more than we could ever imagine, and send it back to the hands that gave it, the intentions that gave it, the people who may not have been able to give as much as they would wish. Bless them abundantly. Let their hearts flow with love. And let us remember that you will sustain us in all things. As we ask, so it shall be. Aho! Aho! I'm going to end with a little Jim Carrey presentation. It's only a couple of minutes. I do want to say thank you. We did run late today. I'm sorry. It was a lot of information. I was trying to pack it in, and I couldn't figure out how to shorten it and make it impactful for you. So as you watch this, I ask that you watch it in a receiving mode, and what that means is that your palms are open and that you're listening to the words and the information. May you walk out of here knowing that you have all the answers, that you are powerful, and you will do great things. I hope.
My soul is not contained within the limits of my body. My body is contained within the limitlessness of my soul. I've often said that I wish people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Because everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. We're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling. Our eyes are not viewers. They are also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life. You get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, in the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying that you can ask the universe for it. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Why not take a chance on faith? Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire, and faith leaps over it. You are ready and able to do beautiful things in this world. And after you walk through those doors today, you will only ever have two choices: love or fear. Choose love, and don't ever let fear turn you against your playful heart.
She's okay. She's a tough girl. I'll be right back.
I'm so glad to see you.
Good. First time here? Well,
Quite different from anything. So much
transition right now.
The weather, you know, it's beautiful there, but nobody was going to come to an open house. They're going to come to an open house and no windows. Hi, Nikki. Good seeing you. Oh, great. Stacy. Great. Yeah. She's still with me. I think she's getting bread. We get that Zika bread here. Sorry? Oh, you're a blessing. Yeah.
Have you been to them before?
Many times.
Oh, they're Selena's such a great speaker. She has a gift. So.
Yeah, and she recollects all the wisdom that we've ever run across, and she just brings it out perfectly.
She really does. She has their such good energy. Well, I told Bob that I go for it. I'm going to go logistics tomorrow. I mean,
you know what the Dalai Lama said? I'm going to put it underneath my signature. If you think, well, I don't think I can make a difference. You know, because in our deal, because you're familiar with it, people think it's strategically effective. I said, whoa, do you have one doctor in the whole universe that you actually have authority? Well, if you did that, you're jealous, because what else are you doing in your life that really can?
So that's why I was a little slow to getting it, but I kind of asked him to think about it before jumping in. But it was kind of like a no-brainer after I thought about it and prayed about it. So.
You certainly have a person I'm
excited about this movement. It's going to help a lot of people in the long run. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited for Cecilia.
Fellow mosquitoes.
Yeah, we're little mosquitoes.
I've never seen him say that, so it's a new thing. Good for you. Do not hesitate to. Days and nights don't make any difference right now. It's just time. It's an opportunity. And busy people only have that much time to respect.
But yes, time is one of those things that, I used to struggle with, but really better with now. Just making time for what's important and prioritizing what's important for family, making it a focus part of everything else is just, like you said, distractions. So, but yeah, this is going to be great.
This much work. She just gave me some more time. If I'm going to do more fasting, I'll have more time to do worthwhile things.
There you are.
How you doing? Good seeing you, Nikki. We'll see you again.
What's your wife's name? What's your wife's name?
Jane.
Jane. Okay. She might be in the restroom.
Next time.
Next time.
This is all therapeutic. This is all a lot of things have happened. A lot of things have been told.
I'm sorry. Oh, no, it's okay. Nice to see you again. When I get to talk or exchange numbers from the past
What I want to do.
I can do that. Oh, I really want to go to my is it on the second floor?
He wasn't going to be competitive. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be on. I did it.
Oh, okay.
Go through. SD Bob.
He was telling me.
I sent it to you guys.
I hear that he told me he couldn't come because he had balloons for you. He's your girlfriend.
Waiting for me in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We always enjoy seeing
Not too impressive, is it?
No.
Not too impressive. So, anyway, I'm going to go down this road. What I will get out of it is these are 4 grand. So, I don't, these are road. I don't have the money. Then I guess I can buy them if I need to get the skirt. That's what I showed you. On a personal level, kind of, but none of it's Well, my audiologist, you know, in order, I can get like a, where you don't say you don't make enough money. Apply for it.
Okay. Working out.
By the time you're done jumping through hoops, so you might as well just go to the
Well, the reason I asked you that is
Just the meditation. Meditate love. Good meditation. You need a couple of
Yeah, I was really glad last when I was starting to worry and then my friend Christine comes out and she was so excited to see me and you know, I'm gonna go home and sleep. I was happy to see her, so I know.
I'll catch you guys later. Got my nieces and nephews. Yeah, I got a niece and nephew, Clarkson. They came up. They're my sister-in-law and my brother went out for lunch. They got hopped the around that. I got to call them. On the farm. Good to see you.
somebody that I know is wrestling we have a I know your wife is interested in smoking like a laser. You know where?
Yeah. It's I just found out yesterday that I thought I was employed, and I don't know if I'm going to be now or not. So.
Employed?
Yeah, I was working at a construction outfit doing sales, but I don't know if that's going to happen now or not.
Well,
if you want to go say Lotus, yeah, you need to get one of those. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That's the beverage. Just like Sparks. A lot of the stuff that you did today was in that.
Yeah, they're gonna
So, lots of good work.